Oh boy. You're not being sued. Really not. Why do I say it like this? Well, literally, like maybe a few days ago, maybe a week ago. Oh wait, my email says 4 days ago. Oops. So 4 days ago, if you had received this email from Google, it would say that you're not being sued. There is a class action lawsuit that was done a few years prior, and essentially what they were doing was basically Google Plus had a data breach after it was defunct, which I don't know how that happens, but hey, I mean, I guess they kept the servers and they didn't turn them off. So, if you had received an email like this, let's just read this real quick, because I gotta say, Google, you're fucking stupid. But, before you go and file this claim, I want you to really take into account what you're getting out of this, because it actually is super. On June 10th, 2020, Honorable Edward J. Davila of the United States District Court for the Northern District of California granted preliminary approval of this class action settlement, directed litigants to provide this notice about the settlement. You have received this notice because Google's records indicate that you may be a settlement class member, and you may be eligible to receive a payment. Ooh, money, right? Well, wait, there's more. Please visit Google Plus Data Litigation for more information. The final approval hearing on this adequacy reasonableness of the fairness settlement will be held at 9 in the morning on November 19th, 2020. So let's look at this real quick. They give us a little bit of a website here. Let's actually take a look at this real quick. So let's take a look at this real quick. This is basically a class action lawsuit. Because of Google Plus. Now, if you haven't noticed, Google Plus has always been and it will always forever be a fucking thorn in the ass for Google. If you don't recall in the past, YouTube literally died for 2 hours because of Google Plus. Because for some reason in 2014 and 15, they thought it would be a good idea to force the fuck in Google Plus into everything. Now it's becoming a pain in the ass, especially when literally this shit's happening, and Google really doesn't want this. They really don't fucking want this, and even though they make a fuck ton of money, they really just do not want to deal with this. And fair enough, right? But now there's a data breach, and now this is what's happening. So October 8th is the exclusion opt-out. Basically, opting out means you don't want to file a claim. Literally, it doesn't matter, right? October 8th is the objection deadline, and then there's the claim deadline as well. So essentially, all three on the same day is this deadline. So how does a class action lawsuit work? Well, it's really simple, honestly. A class action goes basically like as it is. A group of people file claims against a specific company or whatever on the basis that that company's product or something that the company has made or been a part of had allegedly harmed them in some capacity. And in this case, it was a data litigation. In other words, it was a breach of personal information. So essentially, what you have here is a company like Google, who's had a product, Google Plus, who had a breach of information that could potentially be in. Google operated the Google Plus social media platform for consumers from June 2011 to April 2019. In 2018, Google announced that the Google Plus platform experienced software bugs between 2015 and 2018. This was around the same fucking time that Google was forcing the fuck Plus into literally everything. And probably for the worst case for Google is that they are going to pay for shit out. Because Plus has always been a thorn in everyone's ass, especially Google's. Ever since they defunct Plus, there have been a bunch of numerous things that have been coming out on this whole thing. And now, we get to see what the settlement is, because if you perceive this, you basically can file a claim. Now, before you even file those claims, let's be real here for a second, though. You're probably not going to get a lot, because if you read what you read, let's look at this. Under the settlement, Google will pay $7.5 million, which will be used to fund 1. Class member settlement payments, 2. Attorney's fees not to exceed 25% of the settlement fund and costly expenses to not exceed $200,000. Okay, let's look at the numbers real quick. So effectively, $7.5 million. 25% of that is already going to be almost $2 million out of it. It is like around $1,875,000. So what is left of that total settlement is $5,625,000. So that's what's left of this. But the expenses for each individual attorney is not to exceed $200,000. Okay. For service awards to be all claims may be against Google, administration fees and costs if necessary, so we have to take that into account. Now, let's actually go into the nitty-gritty of the numbers for each claim. Now, how it works with class action is, unfortunately, it's like a pyramid scheme, where the biggest lump sum of money is for the top people who are, like, you know, attorneys and shit, people who actually in charge of the class action. But then it trickles down, like most things, it trickles down to what the claimants are. And the claimants, so let's look at the payments real quick to the claimants. So if you are trying to receive a payment based on a valid claim, and I say a valid claim, then here's how much you, the claimant, will get. Plus, members who submit a valid claim may receive a pro rata share of the net settlement fund up to a cash payment of $12. That is right, motherfuckers. You're basically wasting your time for $12. I'm not joking you, okay? Depending on the number of claimants. Each class member may submit only one claim, funds remaining in the net settlement fund after distribution. How it works is it's like a pyramid, right? The big lump sum of money, it trickles down towards the claimants. Effectively, what you get is what you get. And what you are being paid as a claimant is $12 maximum. Now, I was reading somewhere earlier where it looked like, oh, well, the minimum was $5, or, oh, the maximum was $12. From what I see here in this actual data litigation court case, is you're actually being paid a minimum of $12, if not a maximum of $12. I've seen a lot of shit everywhere, and it does seem to be like $12 is the base amount that you are being paid as a claimant. Which, unless you're looking out to get a nice free Big Mac meal from McDonald's, courtesy of Google, that's not a lot. That's not a lot of money, sadly. Now, obviously, there are several options with these class action lawsuits. You can submit a claim form for you to be eligible for cash payment. Obviously, that is at your own discretion. I am not a lawyer. I'm not going to tell you should file a claim, especially when it's like $12. Like, I'm not going to tell you to fucking do anything, first off. That is your own discretion. I am not a lawyer. I shouldn't be the one telling you that you should do this. This is your own discretion. You could submit a claim for 12 fucking bucks. I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's a waste of time and money, because you're only getting 12 bucks. You could opt out of the settlement, which, like, effectively what opting out is like, okay, I don't want to fucking do anything with this. You're not going to receive payment. You're not a part of it. Essentially, you're not doing fucking anything. You're just kind of non-complicit with this whole thing. And, like, yeah, you might have been affected, but you really don't give a fuck enough to, like, warrant having this be a thing. Honestly, fair enough, I suppose. This is the one that I think Google preferably wants you to do. Because, again, Google doesn't want to fucking deal with this case, because it has always been, plus has been a pain in Google's ass, even after it's been defunct, especially when it's been defunct. File an objection with the court. Again, this is something Google doesn't want you to wants you to fucking do, because it makes them look good. Write to the settlement administrator about why you do not like the settlement. The deadline for this is October 8th. These objections will be shared with the court. If you object to the settlement, you will be bound by the settlement's terms, and you will not be allowed to exclude yourself from the settlement. You will lose your right to sue Google and any other release entities regarding legal. Effectively, like I said, this is what Google wants you to do. They want you to be like, hey, I don't like this settlement, and I'm going to be on Google's side with this. Google did nothing wrong. Okay? Because you can't sue them. in the event that there's something that actually is major that comes out of this, and it actually shows that Google did something wrong, well, now you can't do shit. Because you sided with them. You fucking sided with them. And basically, this is the option that people want, Google wants you to do. And I hope anyone with a brain cell can say, well, I probably shouldn't side with Google, especially when it's their responsibility to make sure shit like this doesn't happen. But, there are a few brainlets out there who don't understand that, and they'll end up siding with Google because, for some reason, brand loyalty. I don't know. Again, Google wants you to do this option specifically, and because it makes them look good. It gives them a reason to be like, yeah, guys, we're not doing anything wrong. And then effectively, kind of like opting out of the settlement, do nothing is literally just what it states. It just is do nothing. I'm not a lawyer. I think, honestly, your best bet with this is just to do fucking nothing or opt out. I mean, both of them are the same thing. You don't get paid your $12. You don't get your free Big Mac meal. Sorry. Effectively, what it means is you just don't get your payment. You're not involved. You're not complicit with the whole thing. And, you don't want to take a side. Honestly, me personally, I'm probably not going to do this. Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to tell you legally you should do this or do not. I'm going to tell you based on what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to say, yeah, this shit is not worth it, in my opinion. It really isn't. At the end of the day, you really can't just sit here and say, oh, well, you're suing Google, and then people don't look into the fine words and realize they're only being paid $12. Effectively, I just think I'm not going to do anything about it. That's up to you, at the end of the day, what you're going to do. And, like I said, I personally think that's not worth it. If my personal, every fucking day, personal information gets breached or leaked anyway. But what a lot of people don't understand is, at the end of the day, 90% of it is usually, old information. And correct me on that, but last time I've had my personal information breached, it was shit from, 2015 or 2016. The point is if you want to be a part of this, great. Go ahead. I'm not telling you should. But if you do end up winning, you're only getting $12 out of this, and I don't think it's worth it. At the end of the day, no, this isn't a scam. This is not a scam. This is coming straight from Google. I think that's honestly, at the end of the day, what it boils down to. This is coming from Google. So for me to sit here and be like, oh, well, this is a scam. Don't do this, guys. No, this is an actual court case that's been going on for 2 years now. At the end of the day, whether you do this is up to you. I'm personally not going to. But hey, I just want to make this known because I haven't seen a lot of people cover it. I would have expected Mutahar, some ordinary gamers to cover this shit. But I guess he has more important things to deal with, like China and Tencent. But with that being said, guys, I am done for tonight. Or today. I hope you all have a damn good one. And I'll see you later. August is out.